I love Go. I absolutely love Go. It's incredible. The craziest thing about Go, for me, is that I actually don't think it's that crazy. It reminds me a lot of my normal Florida Tuesdays. This reminds me of a Tuesday night in Florida. We're all madly self-destructive here, wantonly nihilistic, chic postmodernists with coke all over our faces and bloody noses. This is what my life has been. It's like Go. Lots of car accidents, lots of people with guns, lots of people chasing you, lots of cute girls, lots of fake drugs, lots of good drugs, lots of lots of culture defining moments that you don't even realize are culture defining. Go is about establishing atmosphere. Go is about aesthetic. Go is about encapsulation. Go is about providing ethos. Go came out in 1999, and I think it is the most 90s movie on the face of the earth. Now, when you place a movie so firmly in that context, it's typically a criticism, and is not, I'm not speaking critically of the film at all. I think it encapsulates everything about the American postmodern pop philosophy that was bubbling, boiling over, erupting, exploding, fucking going off you in the 90s. And this came at the very end of it. It's a perfect distillation of 90s postmodern pop ethos through this trip-hop nihilistic lens. I think that Sarah Polley, Timothy Olyphant, and Katie Holmes are the most impressive here. Or at least they have the most engaging storylines. Because if there is a problem with Go, it's that I only care about the first story and the ending of the film. Honestly, if I have any sort of emotional investment. But this might be a film that scoffs at emotional investment. This might be a film that doesn't care if you're emotionally invested. It has more in common with Pulp Fiction and Train Spotting than it does with anything sentimental. This is not a sentimental film, nor were the 90s a sentimental time period. Remember, so far as music goes, the culture-defining lyric will always be, "Oh well, whatever, never mind." And that came in the early 90s. When that progresses, what are we left with? We're left with Go. We're left with this kind of anarchic, kind of wild film that seems to owe a lot to Greg Araki. The films like Nowhere and Doom Generation, totally fucked up. It definitely seems at times to be Greg Araki light, but in a pretty decent way. I mean, James Duvall's even in this film, who was Araki's early muse, especially for those films I just named. James Duvall is actually in this film in a vignette or a story that I don't actually care for too much. It doesn't make it not entertaining. It just means that I don't see myself in this situation, which is fine. I don't have to watch every movie selfishly. Just because Katie Holmes isn't on screen, I can still enjoy something about the films. Go is absolutely fantastic. It's like kind of earth-shatteringly good. Even if I'm not invested in probably the majority of the film, because it has that quality, right? That untouchable quality, that unknowable quality. It's a film that didn't know that it was capturing everything about 90s teen philosophy. It did not know it was capturing everything about 90s youth culture in one. It didn't know it was doing it, but it's incredibly obvious that it did. And that's something that's so incredible to me. Go has nihilistic qualities. Go has has a postmodern structure, has a postmodern ethos, and has a postmodern heart. It has an existentialist glee. And it has like a hedonistic redness to it as well. There is heat coming off this film. Mostly ironic, but most postmodernism is ironic. But there are also parts that are incredibly sincere, but sincere in a way that doesn't feel contrived at all. Katie Holmes and Timothy Olyphant, Claire and Todd, sitting at that diner at the end of the film talking about family circus and how terrible it is, and I agree with that so much. They put it at the very end of the comic, and it's the last thing that you see, and it sucks so much, which is so meta, so fitting, so devilishly, and dare I say postmodern, because that's the ending of the film. And I believe that Claire and Todd are pointing out that they're the last characters you're going to hang out with. Wow. After all these people, I mean, I think that they're probably two of the best characters, but it's a nice little wink to the camera. It's a nice little wink, and it's a way that the film is saying that we're not going to make any profound statement. We're not going to say something profound. If you came here for a life-changing experience, you're in the wrong place. If you're in the 90s looking for a life-changing experience, you're in the wrong place. If you're about to enter the new millennium looking for the meaning of life, give up now. Turn back. Rana Martin is honestly probably my favorite character, played by Sarah Polley. Rana is so cool. Like, epitomizes fucking 90s rebel cool to me. Such an incredible character, and like that the jacket she wears, her behavior, her reactions, her mood, her atmosphere, her gravitational pull, to me is so emblematic of something that I find so deeply affectionate and absurdly dangerous about these films that I become so obsessed with, the films of the late 90s and early 2000s. I think Rana completely is so emblematic of that she's mammoth in her symbolism for me. It's incredible. This is an incredible film. It's very funny. This is a dark comedy. This is an absurdist philosophical treatise about nothing and nothingness, because it's truthful, and truthfulness because there's nothing meaningful. Nothing at all. And I love that it reminds me of my normal Florida evening. I love that these characters remind me of the characters within my own life here in Florida. And I think it's so important that though it's emblematic of all of these things from the 90s, because they are the things that went undiagnosed, but more importantly, went untreated. And these qualities, these anarcho qualities, these wild qualities that are very visible in Go are still very visible in our culture today. Maybe it's a universal thing, that's an undying thing, and it wasn't until Go that it was fully captured on film, but it's still there. I see it within my social groups. I see it within myself. I love that this film reminds me of all of my weird Florida postmodern brats all around me. Because that's what Go is comprised of. Go is a film comprised of postmodern brats just trying to have a good fucking night. Or a night worth living, possibly. I have very self-destructive qualities personally, but that's kind of because the only other alternative is going through the motions. And who wants to do that? I only feel truly alive when things are truly threatening. When things are truly, totally fucked up. Go gives us a treatment. Go gives us a masterpiece. Go is, well, it's something. It's definitely something. And I'm amazed by how large that something can be.